As a recent freshman, Tokiya has but one goal: to get a girlfriend. This is a dream he has had since he entered university, and he is determined to make sure it is accomplished. He was never popular in high school, always surrounded by boys of similar status. However, Lady Luck might just be on his side this time. He has his eyes set on a girl only 3 months into university. And that girl is, just then, a beautiful brown-haired girl recognizes him. She softly calls out to him from behind, and as he turns around, he is yet again swallowed inside the deep blue eyes of Waka-chan. Sakuraba Waka is also a first year with the same club. Tokiya believes his morning is blessed as he has been graced by the angelic figure of Waka-chan. They plan on meeting at the club after their classes are over. As they part ways, Tokiya is left dazed with his heart beating. This short but sweet conversation has him remembering his first meeting with her. 3 months ago in April, he was looking for a club as that would increase his chances of finding a girlfriend. His eyes naturally fall on the travel club, which sounds interesting in its own right. Before he can think of anything further, his thoughts are interrupted by a voice. Weka-chan asks him if he's a member of the club, but he replies that he is just a freshman looking to join the intro, instantly enamored by her beauty. She conveys her interest in traveling and wonders whether he too shares the same tastes. Tokiya replies with a simple more or less. Her soft and gentle demeanor is what instantly makes him fall for her, a love at first sight. After that, he vows to make sure he does whatever it takes to shorten the gap between them, making sure to greet her later and trying to do assignments together, finding any way to strike up a conversation between them. Thanks to his efforts, he can now talk to her without it feeling forced. Back to the present, his friends from the club are here. They have just witnessed the entire scene play out and are happy to see his hard work bearing fruit. He tries to pretend he does not understand what they are talking about, but they ignore him. They praise Waka-chan, calling her an outstanding beauty, with a kind, cute, and healing energy around her. Even though she might be slightly airheaded, this only increases her attractiveness. They share the sentiment that she has the vibe of an angel on earth. Tokiya's friends keep urging him to confess his feelings to the girl, pushing him to take the next step. They continue teasing him about how obvious his feelings are, and though Tokiya blushes, he knows they're right. He starts mentally preparing himself to confess, though each time he gets close, his nerves get the better of him. Later, Tokiya finds himself alone in the club. Without his usual friends, he cannot be friendly to anyone else. The remaining members of the club leave with a courteous goodbye. He sighs as he feels even he has to prepare to leave since it doesn't seem like Waka-chan will be coming. Perhaps some work caught her attention. As he opens the door to leave, he finds Weka-chan standing just outside. This causes him to panic and stumbles in his shock. Weka gasps and catches him, but they both fall to the ground together. Tokiya lands on top of her with his hands on her and their faces just inches apart. Both of them freeze in place, their eyes wide as they stare at each other in shock. Realizing the situation, Tokiya quickly jumps up, flustered and apologizing repeatedly. The girl sits up, brushing the dust off her clothes, and reassures him that it's fine. Her face is red, but she remains composed. She tells him that as long as Sit was him, she does not mind. Tokiya nervously sits in front of her, unable to meet her gaze as his mind races. He wants to confess, but the words won't come out. He opens his mouth to try, but all he manages is a soft mumble, incomprehensible. The girl looks at him expectantly, but Tokiya freezes again. Unable to confess, he awkwardly mutters that he'll try again another time and quickly excuses himself, walking away with his head hanging low. Tokiya reflects on how he keeps failing to confess. He mentally berates himself, frustrated by his inability to get the words out. He suddenly realizes that his phone is missing. He must have dropped it back then, so he turns around to find it. Tokiya stands outside the clubroom, his hand on the door handle. He takes a deep breath, determined to find his phone. However, when he opens the door, he is surprised to see Wakamiya sitting alone inside, looking exhausted. She leans back in her chair and sighs deeply, completely out of her usual character, muttering to herself about how tired she is. Tokiya stands frozen in the doorway, watching her silently, unsure of what to do next. Waka is stretching her arms, stating how smiling all day makes her face hurt and using the cute voice is draining. Tokiya stares, taken aback by her unexpected words. Playing the dumb heroine is definitely hard work, according to her. Then she suddenly shifts the conversation to him, commenting on how the weird loser seems interested in her. She feels as if he was just about to confess, but finds the way he froze so lame. But then again, anyone would freeze in front of a bomb like her. He accidentally thuds against the door, and Weka notices him standing there and comments on how long he's been watching her. Tokiya awkwardly greets her, asking what she's doing. She brushes off his question and switching back to her friendly demeanor. Tokiya, flustered, tries to play it off and says that it's nothing. Waka's mood lightens and she invites him over, joking that he can sit next to her if he wants. She is still pretending to be her usual self and tries to act ignorant. After multiple times of this back and forth, Tokia thinks it's just best to leave it at that and tries to head home. He has stopped, and now she confronts him, asking if he saw everything. As she locks the door to prevent anyone else from entering, she wonders whether he likes her. He denies such outrageous claims, but she continues. She believes he was about to confess to her. She wants to know what it is about her that he liked. He finally tells her it was her cute and kind personality, but she cuts him off before he can even fully explain. She is disappointed in him as he fell for such a simple trick. That was just her made-up persona. He cannot believe why someone would even do such a thing. Just because she likes teasing losers and getting their hopes up is her answer. She finds this situation absolutely hilarious, but Tokia is mad. He furiously claims that he will make sure to let everyone know about the true Waka-chan. She isn't afraid. She continues to tease him, mentioning that she's going to tell everyone in the club what happened, as she holds up her phone with the scandalous picture. Tokia's eyes widen as he is curious to know how she even took that picture in such a short amount of time. She replies that she took it when he wasn't paying attention. The look on his face is priceless, and everyone would believe her instead of him. She plans on sharing the picture on the group chat. Tokia's panic grows as he imagines what would happen if the photo was shared. He pictures his classmates gossiping about him and calling him names, worried that his chances of getting a girlfriend will be ruined. Desperate, he pleads with Wakamiya not to share the picture. Wakamiya, still smiling, agrees not to tell anyone, but only if he promises not to tell anyone else about what happened. Tokia, visibly relieved, agrees. Tokia, feeling embarrassed with himself on falling in love with such a woman, has nothing else to do but leave. As his trust of all women is shaken, he begins leaving the room. Wakamiya stops just as she is about to leave the room and turns back to Tokia, calling out to him, telling him to wait. Tokia looks surprised as he turns to face her. She steps closer with a playful smile and mentions that she needs help with something. She suggests that Tokia stay around for a while to help her expression teasing and lighthearted, knowing he won't refuse. Tokia, clearly nervous, stammers in response, asking what she needs. He looks uncomfortable and mutters to himself that he doesn't have a good feeling about this at all. His expression shows his uncertainty as Waka-chan watches him, still smiling. Later, we find Tokia and Wakamiya sitting together at a ramen shop. Tokia feels as if this is her ploy to get him to pay for her meals. Waka is offended. She won't stoop that low. She will at least pay for herself. Waka-chan eagerly tells Tokia that she's wanted to eat ramen at this shop for a while. Tokia looks around, commenting that the place seems popular. Wakamiya nods excitedly and explains that she's been craving ramen and really wanted to come here. He is a bit confused. Why couldn't she come here with someone else if she really wanted to? She comments it is due to the facade she has made, sounding as if it is a perfectly normal behavior. Then why didn't she come here alone? Well, that's because she doesn't want to be alone, and if someone sees her alone, her entire story will be blown over. This way, she has perfect cover. Just then his friends come over and are surprised to find both of them here. They ask what they are doing, and before Tokia can come up with a proper answer, Waka quickly tells them that he wanted to eat from this famous ramen shop, so she decided to tag along. They quietly advise him that this isn't the sort of place where one would bring his crush. He wants to say that he was the one invited, but decides it's better to stay quiet. She seems satisfied, but he is extremely irritated by her antics. Their food arrives, and Wakamiya excitedly digs into her bowl of ramen. She slurps the noodles, expressing how delicious it is. Tokia, watching her, comments that she seems different from her usual self. Wakamiya looks up from her bowl and asks what he means. Tokia shrugs, saying that she looks more relaxed than usual. As they continue eating, Wakamiya takes a moment to savor the food, her eyes closed in enjoyment. Tokia, still confused by the change in her demeanor, asks again if something is bothering her. Wakamiya reassures him that everything is fine, smiling as she takes another bite of her ramen. After they finish their meal, Tokia and Wakamiya walk together outside. Waka says that everything worked out perfectly. She got to eat out at the place she wanted without having to compromise her fake persona, and got to hang out with a cute girl. Not like he was busy anyway. Even though that last comment was unnecessary, he asks her why she is pretending so hard. It makes life much more fun this way. Everyone likes her now, and she can fish losers like him. He is angry, but then asks her why she's trying to hide her true self. That's because her true self is too, but she falls silent. She solemnly asks him a question. Wasn't he crushed when he found out this was her true personality? He admits that it was rather heartbreaking, but before she seemed too perfect, almost unapproachable. In hindsight, every conversation they had before was shallow. Even though he was really angry at times, after everything today for the first time, he felt as if he really got to know her as a person, and now feels much more comfortable with her. But still he hasn't forgotten her actions. It is time to part ways, and they head in different directions. Waka, however, is feeling strange hearing those words. as she is staring at an earlier photo of Tokiya from high school. She says it doesn't make her feel better by his words now, almost as if trying to force herself to stop feeling such emotions. The next day, as he is still recovering from finding out about Waka-chan, Tokiya is driving himself to class. He had trouble sleeping last night due to the action-packed events of the day before. Instead of the cute and kind girl she was presenting herself to be, she turned out to be a completely devilish imp. He feels cheated and as if his previous 3 months have been totally wasted as everything feels fake now. He wants a refund for all the time wasted, recounting all of the earlier sincere conversations he's had. Now feels embarrassing. It again makes his blood boil. Even as he reached university, he cannot forget about it all, and he meets her again. She greets out to him as if nothing has changed, but he cannot pretend that everything is the same. He is shocked she even bothered talking to him. He thought she would try to cut all contact. She seems confused as to why he would even think of such a thing. He believes anyone would feel this way after getting cheated. He is still mad, so he is still not in a talkative mood. Noticing this, she declares in a soft tone that actually all those things she said yesterday about messing with him were a lie. They were only said to cover up her actual desires. Tokiya is tense when he sees her embarrassed face and asks her what she means. Twiddling her thumbs, she begins answering. It almost feels like a confession, and he is totally absorbed into it, when she shows her true colors yet again. He can't believe he fell for it again, even after figuring out her true nature yesterday. Then her friend from the club comes up. She switches her personalities as easily as she breathes. As they begin discussing about the difficult assignment which is due today, Tokiya is left devastated hearing about it. He had completely forgotten about it due to the events weighing on his mind. The friend looking at the difficult situation suggests Waka to help him out. Waka agrees, promising an A+ grade. Tokiya is skeptical as he knows she is only pretending to be a goody two-shoes. The friend then has to leave for her job. In an empty class, Tokiya is being helped by Waka on his assignment. He is surprised she actually fulfilled her earlier commitment. Waka is unable to find the oddity in this, as it is normal to honor one's words. Tokiya is astounded by her apparent contradiction in her words and actions. She jokingly says that she must have a heart of gold. Tokiya reminds her that it must be fake gold just like her personality. She orders him to focus on the work as there isn't too much time remaining. Perhaps she might not actually be that bad of a person. Finally, he uploads the assignment in the nick of time, and they both breathe a sigh of relief. Waka is standing beside him, proud. She believes he should be thankful to her, as this was all thanks to her. As much as he would like to deny it, he cannot help but admit that her words are true as far as this assignment goes. He thanks her deeply, and she suddenly goes silent, stuttering that it wasn't that big of a deal. Quickly, in order to hide her embarrassment, she believes he owes her lunch for all that, and he finally understands why she behaved kindly. He agrees, but only if she buys something affordable. At the cafe, she is extremely happy as food paid by a loser tastes extra delicious. He doesn't like how she worded it. He comments how the meal she ordered was extremely expensive. It was what she wanted to eat after all. He feels as if he is just letting her walk over him. Unbeknown to him, she is stealing glances at him. In the corridor, she is cheerful as usual, but Tokiya feels as if his savings were wasted. She argues that money is earned to be spent. Before going, she turns around and thanks him cutely. He feels frustrated at how easily he feels like forgiving her for everything. Waka bumps into a person before she is able to leave. She apologizes, but the other person insists it was his own fault. Then recognition dawns. It's the club president, just returned from his trip to Vietnam. Noticing Tokiya nearby, he greets him as well. They ask how the trip went, expressing confusion since he had only just returned from another one to Italy last month. Daichi Hariyama, a junior in college, is someone who loves traveling more than anything. His passion had been the driving force behind forming the club. He wanted to meet people who shared the same wanderlust. College, he believes, is the best time to explore, to travel as much as possible, to encounter unfamiliar terrain, different cultures, and new faces. There's nothing quite like it. For him, travel is romance incarnate. That belief is what led him to create the club, and with a cheerful grin, he pats both of them on the back. Tokiya recalls how, even during their first meeting, the president had struck him as an overwhelmingly spirited person. As Daichi launches into another passionate speech about the joys of travel, how even local trips could be exciting, his flow is interrupted. A voice cuts in, dry and composed. A black-haired girl approaches, asking if he's bothering the juniors again. It's Suzuko, also a junior and a member of the club. She asks where he had run off to this time. He explains that with job hunting and graduation looming next year, he wanted to make the most of their third year while they still could. Suzuko, unimpressed, retorts that perhaps he should consider working on his grades too. Otherwise, he might find himself repeating a year again. The remark lands with weight. He stiffens, struck silent, and begins to reflect with shame. Suzuko turns to the others and apologizes on his behalf, but both Tokiya and Waka assure her that it's unnecessary. As she looks at Tokiya more closely, she notices the dark circles under his eyes. Casually, she comments that he ought to rest properly. He stammers that it's just due to a lack of sleep the night before. She asks if something is troubling him, but he cannot say. The reason is standing right beside him. Instead, he replies that it isn't worth worrying over. At this, she leans in, inspecting him more closely, too close. In that moment, his gaze shifts involuntarily and he notices her figure. Flustered, he pulls back and insists there's nothing to worry about. She steps away, but her expression softens. She tells him gently that if there's anything bothering him, he shouldn't hesitate to reach out. The simple kindness causes his heart to beat faster. She extends the same offer to Waka, creating a quiet atmosphere of warmth and care. His heart continues to race. He's still not used to speaking with girls like her. Even during their first meeting, he had been nervous. Suzuko carries a different air than Waka. She has the calm, composed presence of a mature, older sister. He knows he never would have met someone like her if he hadn't enrolled in university. Waka, standing beside him, does not miss his reactions. She observes him closely, noting every shift in his expression. Then, reverting to her usual teasing demeanor, she comments, half playfully, half mocking, whether losers like him are weak to older women too. He has no answer, and the silence serves as one. He reminds her that she has class and should be heading off. She pouts, saying she was leaving anyway. From across the hall, the club president suddenly remembers something and calls out to them. He reminds them to wear something comfortable and easy to move in for tomorrow's cherry-picking event.
Here I am.